And I believe we are good to go. Okay, perfect. We'll cut that part out. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And for those of you that are watching this video online, my name is Mike Cooley, and I'm a recruitment and admissions associate within the UNT Health Science Center Admissions and Recruitment Office. I do have some faculty members with me as well, and I will let them introduce themselves once we get to their portion of the presentation. This is our certificate recruitment video. So we do have 3 different certificates that we do offer within our College of Pharmacy, available not only for our current PharmD students, but for any interested parties outside of the College of Pharmacy currently as well. I'm going to do a brief introduction of our institution as well as our college. We'll go ahead and get into the certificate programs. As I stated, for anyone that's currently joining us, if you have any questions throughout the whole presentation, you're more than welcome to drop them in the chat box. We will be having a Q&A at the end. I did have some students who were unable to join us today also sent in some questions, so we'll be able to have a couple that are answered for them when they view this later on as well. That being said, we'll go ahead and start it off. So the Health Science Center, HSC, has been around for about 50 years now. We started off in 1970 with our Texas School of Osteopathic Medicine, Texas College of Osteopathic Medicine. We also have 5 other schools as well. Our Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences, which we work closely alongside within the College of Pharmacy with their pharmacology offerings. They have a couple of other dual degrees that we offer alongside our PharmD program as well. We have the School of Public Health. We have our School of Health Professions for our PA and PT students. We have the School of Pharmacy ourselves. We're one of the newer kids on the block, not only at the Health Science Center, but newer colleges of pharmacy within the state of Texas. So it allows us to be a little bit more innovative, not as much rules and history. So definitely have some opportunities there for us. And then we do have our newest member of the Health Science Center. It's a joint School of Allopathic Medicine, our MD school, with TCU and the UNT Health Science Center. You can check out, for those of you that might be taking some courses on campus, although most of our certificates are online, you can kind of see the vastness of our campus. We are located in Fort Worth, Texas, on the west side of the VFW Metroplex, just right offside of downtown, 33-acre campus. It's very beautiful. Maybe if you guys finish your certificate program and want to join one of our master's programs or our PharmD program, you'll be able to check out our campus in a little bit more greater detail. You can also see just some of our numbers that we have on a yearly basis at the Health Science Center. We do have a clinic patient care facility on our campus. We see about 120,000, a little bit over that, clinical patient encounters annually. You can see some of our areas of strength in the bottom right, as well as some of our clinical practice areas. See about $50 million worth of sponsored research expenditures every year, as well as how many students, faculty, and staff and alumni we have of the institution. Some of our areas of strength within research, aging and Alzheimer's disease, as well as our interprofessional education model. The forensic genetics is a very popular research area for our students as well, with our Center for Human Identification, working alongside not only state entities, but federal government agencies as well for forensic identification research. Very exciting stuff. And we also do have the North Texas Eye Institute located on our campus as well. So a lot of vision research is conducted by our students as well. As far as the College of Pharmacy itself, we do have over 40 faculty and staff members, some within the dean. You can see our faculty and staff photo on the screen right there, Dean Mondavan right in the front middle, as well as some associate deans. Dr. Tina Maki, who's on the call with us today, and she's one of our associate deans within the college as well. We do have 2 different areas. We do have our pharmaceutical sciences as well as our pharmacotherapy departments, pharmacy curriculum department as well, then some other staff members to kind of help students alongside not only our PharmD programs, but our dual degrees or master's degrees and our certificates through research services, preclinical services, and our CEAS team, our student experience and academic services, which somewhat serve as your student affairs team within our college itself. Just a brief look at what you can get into with the Health Science Center, HSC at Fort Worth, but also with the UNT System College of Pharmacy. With that, I will go ahead and get the certificate recruitment started. That's what you're all here for, right? And I will let Dr. Rasu go ahead and introduce herself and take it over.
Thank you for your nice introduction about our Health Science Center and System College of Pharmacy. Hi, viewers. I am Dr. Rafia Rasu. I'm a professor of pharmacotherapy and interim program director of the Applied Health Outcomes Research Programs. I want to share with you the remarkable features of this certificate program so that you can decide on your career pathways. So what is outcomes research and who uses them? Outcomes research is a broad umbrella term. Well-being of patients and populations. You may have heard the term health services research, health economics and outcomes research, in short, HEOR. They are all under the umbrella of outcomes research. Guides the selection of most effective treatment to improve the health of patients and populations, which often complements clinical trial research conducted in a very controlled setting. So outcomes research provides evidence about benefit and risk of treatments and end results of intervention in patients, individuals, and populations. So what are end results? End results are effect patients and individuals experience. Some of the examples are patients' quality of life, costs, biomarkers like blood pressure control or blood glucose level control, hospitalization, survival or monitoring, in other words, the death as an absolute event. So outcomes research encompass all of these areas and they helped us to make those decisions. So now, who uses them? Anyone interested in health and well-being of patients and populations, they utilize outcomes research. Government agencies like Health and Human Services, you all know about CDC. They use outcomes research tools to set priorities, to allocate resources to monitor nation's health, regulatory our drugs, vaccine, devices, even they monitor mobile health apps. They utilize outcomes research tools to make informed decisions. Organizations like pharmaceutical companies, clinicians, they utilize outcomes research if they want to know what is happening with their patient population. Even hospitals utilize outcomes research to examine the effectiveness and value of both disease prevention and intervention in real-world scenarios. Global Health Organization, as we just saw, World Health Organization, they utilized pharmacoepidemiology or pharmacovigilance to monitor adverse drug events. They have a separate department where they utilize pharmacovigilance tool to monitor adverse drug events. You may also know many of these policy organizations, the names that you're about to see, as you see here. They utilize outcomes research tools to make informed decisions with real-world evidence. Next slide, please. So as we talked about these outcomes research and who utilize outcomes research, now I'm going to tell you what are the courses that are offered through this certificate program. It starts in August and it is 100% online program that you can take from anywhere. It's a 12-semester credit hour and you can finish it in minimum of 2 semesters. You can complete this AHOR certificate program and here is the layout of 5 courses. In the fall semester, as you see here, you will take economic evaluation and policy course and pharmacoepidemiology course. In spring semesters, you will take economic evaluation and policy. In spring semester, you will take evidence-based healthcare, patient-reported outcome course, and mentor-directed AHOR capstone course. Yes, after you complete all of these 5 courses with 12 semester credit hour, you will get the certificate in applied health outcomes research. Next slide, please. So in a nutshell, this is how our AHRQ certificate program looks like. Application deadline is in July 31st. We trust this AHOR differentiating skills will make you more competitive in the job market. And you may also use these skills as a stepping stone and make it easier course load for you in our upcoming Applied Outcomes Research Master's degree. This program is for decision makers charged with improving health outcomes for the individuals and populations and for the society as a whole. Next slide, please. So who will teach these courses? Who will be your mentors? I am very proud to say that these veteran outcomes researchers, nationally known and internationally known, reputed faculty will offer these courses and serve as your mentors. They are experienced teachers in health service and outcomes research and excellent in mentoring students. Their mentees are currently now experts and they are employed in academia, pharmaceutical industry, policy organization, clinical research, and managed care organization. So I believe it is a unique opportunity for you to be able to work with these world-renowned experts. Next slide, please. As I'm talking about outcomes research, what are the job prospects of outcomes research? And as you complete this certificate program, where you can work. I want to say that we conducted a market analysis way before we started this program. They identified health outcomes research in the top tier of programs related to all other analyzed markets. There are about 150 companies in the DFW area, and these includes medical centers, hospital system, health systems, health networks, health insurance companies, healthcare corporations, and pharmaceutical companies. These companies may provide job opportunities once students are trained in this AHOR certificate program. Recently, in a LinkedIn job search, we saw that there were more than 5,000 health outcomes research jobs available in the United States. As you see, there's a huge job prospect in this outcomes research area. Next slide, please. So as we talked about these programs, our courses and features, I hope I was able to spark your interest in the Applied Health Outcomes Research Certificate Program. And as you know about these unique features, I trust this information will guide you to take advantage of this unique program as you decide on your career pathway. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Dr. Rasu, for that great information. It's a very exciting and new certificate to our College of Pharmacy. Up next, I'm going to have Dr. Chang join us and go ahead and talk to us about the Drug Discovery and Development Certificate, as well as touch on the master's degree options that we'll have within this area as well. Dr. Chang, the floor is yours.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. First, I would like to thank Mike Cooney and Dr. Rasu for setting a great stage for for my short presentation. Here I'm Dr. Eric Chen. I'm the professor of pharmaceutical science in the Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences. I here represent the faculty who are involved in the development and the teaching in the drug discovery and the development program. So I will just refer to as DDD in the next few slides. I will be focused on the certificate program, but also I thought it's meaningful also to provide a side-by-side comparison between the certificate program and the Master of Science degree program of DDD. So the purpose for us to develop this two-track of DDD program is to increase student competitiveness in the job market. So talking about a job, graduate student or student who graduate with the certificate or master degree with adequate knowledge and skill set, may be able to find many job opportunity. For example, include but are not limited to here, the biotech and pharmaceutical industry, research institution, research hospitals, contract research organizations. Some can be working as a clinical pharmacist for clinical pharmacy as clinical pharmacist, even for working for consulting firm, law firm, as a medical science liaison, and that's also possible for working for government regulatory agents such as FDA or USPTO, the United States Patent and Trademark Office. I wanted to provide a note that some of these job function or position would require additional training and a credential, besides a certificate, for example, which is relevant to you. So pharmacists here, in order to become a clinical pharmacist or medical science liaison, you need to have a PharmD first, plus perhaps additional training in the DDD field. So this is very much relevant to you. So the field is wide open. It's just a matter of whether you would choose to pursue which track of your career. So the DDD program are designed just to provide you additional option for you to develop your career path. Now, before I dive into the detail of the DDD program, I also want to just highlight, next slide, sorry. So what's going on in the state of Texas? So here I put on a landscape of biotech and farm R&D in Texas. As we know that Texas has a top-notch cancer centers, medical centers, and health science center, plus highly ranked universities. Texas also has more than 250 biotech, pharmaceutical, or life science companies. So among them, around 70 of them are actually located within the 100-mile radius of the DFW metropolitan area. And interesting enough that we all know that in recent years, a lot of company and tech company have moved from out of state to Texas. It is almost also true for the biotech and pharma industry. Yeah, I did a search, use some of keywords and got some returns such as, for example, such as here, quote, $15 biotech companies turning the Lone Star State into a life science leader. And next one, Houston, one of the fastest growing life science community. And then the next one, for example, building a biotech hub, Austin style. So the fact that many biopharmaceutical companies have either emerged from within the Texas or moved from other states to Texas, or have opened their branch operations in Texas. Therefore, there's a lot of job opportunity with the adequate trained tech professional in the DDD field. So now let's move on to the next slide. So here's a kind of a view in a glance of our DDD programs offered by our HSC Community Pharmacy. So the one focus on DDD, two programs, different level program. The first level, of course, is certificate, which consists of 4 courses that can be completed within as needed as 2 semesters. We offer this 4 courses totally online, but I want to explain to you here in the next slide. Hold on for that. We also offer the Master of Science degree in DDD, which consists of 11 courses plus a summer capstone research and internship. So the master degree is like 80% online plus about 20% on-site training for a minimum 30 semester credit hours. The educational goal of this both DDD program are pretty much the same. That is to provide students a systematic learning opportunity about the DDD process, and also increase student understanding of the clinical, medical, and the regulatory affairs of the DDD process. Students would benefit from this program because we believe that those programs shall enable students to be more competitive in the job market, and also would empower working professionals to expand their role and responsibilities and to advance their career. So have said that, we designed this program not only for pharmacy students, but also for recent college graduates who are either still looking for a job or who have a job but want to move into the DDD field. Also, we designed this program for the working professional who are currently working in the DDD field but want to, advance their career, moving up. Have said that, of course, the Master of Science degree is a much more demanding. It's a minimally a year long, but can be completed within 3 years. And besides some of the basic educational goal and the student benefit, the Master of Science degree also would enrich student skill sets and the career adaptability for having a capstone research and the internship course. And for that purpose, this degree program also should expose students to real-world working environment, and would expand student professional network through capstone research or industry internships. So here I'm not going to explain on the cost, which include tuition fee, because that's a part of the I believe that Mr. Michael Coney will talk about in the later part of today's event. So if you want to dive into more detail, you can always visit the website for the detail. So, but as I promised, I'm going to still recap the certificate program details. Next slide, please. So once again, the DDD certificate program curriculum consists of 4 courses. Listed here, I want to point out to you that all those 4 courses are cross-listed for our pharmacy program, either as a core course in this case, or as electives, those 3 elective courses. So it is particularly meaningful because you guys are pharmacy students and you are required to, of course, take this core course, but you are also required to undertake 6 semester credit hour of elective course. So if you are interested in the DDD field, after having taken this one as a core course, you could take 2 of the 3 elective courses to fulfill your required 6 semester credit hours. So you are only one step. If you are willing to take one more step to take one more elective course out of the 3, then you have reached the milestone for earning a DDD certificate. So this is very reachable if you are interested in this educational program options. So I would definitely encourage you to think about it. And of course, next slide, please. I'm standby for next slide, please. If you have any question with regard to the academic program DDD, you can always reach out to me by email, preferred, or phone call. But of course, if you have any question in regard to the admission process, Mr. Michael Coney is the best person to talk about it. So I'm gonna end my short presentation here. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chang. Last but certainly not least, we'll have our Associate Dean and Program Contact for our Pharmacometrics Certificate, Dr. Tina Makiu. Go ahead and take over for our final certificate presentation. You might be muted, Dr. Makiu.
I apologize. You would think, previous slide, you would think that after 14 months, I would be an expert at Zoom. But anyway, I'd like to welcome you to this presentation regarding pharmacometrics. And I'm Tina Makiu. I am Senior Associate Dean and Professor in Pharmaceutical Sciences, and I'm the Administrative Director for the Pharmacometrics Certificate Program. I am also representing Dr. Ayapa Chattervidula, who is the Content Director and Expert in Pharmacometrics. And so at the end of the presentation, I will have both his and my contact information. Next slide, please. So what is pharmacometrics? It's that branch of science that uses math models of biology, pharmacology, physiology, and disease states to describe and quantify interactions between xenobiotics and patients. And what are xenobiotics? Well, there are substances or compounds that are foreign to the body. And for our purposes, for pharmacometrics, xenobiotics are drugs. And pharmacometrics is used to quantify the beneficial effects as well as the adverse effects of drugs in the body. Next slide, please. So pharmacometrics is that quantitative aspect of clinical pharmacology that is used to predict outcomes in patients by modeling plasma concentrations of drugs. And what it does is it estimates dose and dosing interval of drug and is used in all phases of clinical trials in drug development. And when a drug is marketed worldwide in phase 4 clinical trials, pharmacometrics can further be used to refine dosing by considering a number of things with regard to patient variables. And previous slide, please.
Sorry about that.
Previous, such as age, weight, comorbid conditions, and adherence. And so what is adherence? Adherence is simply whether or not a patient takes the drug as prescribed for as long as it's prescribed. So as you go into the worldwide market and have more data about more kinds of patient factors, you can further refine dose and dosing intervals. So in total, pharmacometrics is used to approximate the dose of drug that's necessary to produce desired effects, and it also estimates the maximum safe dose. Next slide, please. So what are some of the career opportunities in pharmacometrics? Certainly in regulatory agencies, such as the Food and Drug Administration. Also in pharmaceutical industry, as I mentioned, in all phases of clinical trials and drug development. And also if you are a pharmacy student or a pharmacist in clinical pharmacology. So the Bayesian dosing that you will be learning in this program is used routinely for drugs that have specialized need, where, for example, if a patient has kidney disease or liver failure, for modeling dosing in certain patients. And so next slide. And so what is pharmacokinetics? And so pharmacokinetics is the branch of pharmacology that concerns the fate of drug in the body. And so what it does is, when we think about it, what does the body do to the drug? So pharmacokinetics deals with the time course of absorption of drug, distribution, metabolism, and excretion of drug. And it's used to manage patients and manage their drug therapy through appropriate dosing at appropriate dosing intervals. That is to achieve the plasma concentration, previous slide, of drug that produces a therapeutic response. And so the therapeutic response, or the desired outcome, of course, is what we call pharmacodynamics. And so in addition to dealing with the effects that the drug produces on the body, pharmacodynamics is also concerned with how drugs produce their mechanism of action. That is, how do they produce that mechanism of action that results in that outcome. And so these two areas of pharmacology are very important because they are the foundational fields for pharmacometrics. And so pharmacokinetic principles underlie the models that you would use in the Pharmacometrics Certificate. Next slide, please. So what is the curriculum? So first we have, well, in total, I'd like to say that these are 5 3-semester hour courses, and they are offered over 3 semesters. And so the first one is the quantitative aspects of drug action. And it is simply advancing your skills in pharmacometrics and pharmacokinetics. The next one is statistics for pharmacometrics. And so what this does is it enhances your pre-existing statistic skill sets. And what it does is enable you to have sufficient expertise in statistics for the pharmacometric analyses. And in the clinical pharmacology and drug development course, you are taught by experts in the regulatory agencies, such as the FDA and pharmaceutical industry. And they will provide you with up-to-date application of pharmacometrics in drug development. And the final 2 courses are the pharmacometrics techniques courses, and they will provide you with the pharmacometrics programming skills that are used in drug development. Next slide, please. So 2 courses are offered in the fall, the quantitative aspects of drug action and the statistics for pharmacometrics. Then in the spring, you have the clinical pharmacology and pharmacometrics 1 course. And finally, in the summer, you conclude with the pharmacometrics techniques course. Next slide, please. These are just some points to consider. If you like pharmacometrics, you should think about it. If you like statistics, you should think about it. And if you like programming and are interested in a career in drug development research, then you should think about it. Next slide. Here's my contact information. And again, I'm the administrative director for this certificate. The expert and content director for this certificate program, and the individual who developed it is Dr. Ayappa Chattervadula, and he can be reached at the email address below. Thank you.
All righty, thank you for that, Dr. Maki. We had some sort of self-timer thing going on there. I'm not sure what happened there. But we still got through it all, and we can always pause it on the video if they need to take a little more time to read the slides. So let's talk about some academic requirements real quick for each of the certificate programs that we talked about today. You can see going from your left to your right, the Applied Health Outcomes Research Certificate, Drug Discovery and Development in the middle, and then Pharmacometrics in that same order that we went into present earlier. So for our Applied Health Outcomes Research Certificate, you do need a bachelor's degree to apply, or for those professional students who started professional schools such as their PharmD or their PhD in pharmacy before obtaining their bachelor's degree, they'll need a GPA of a 2.8 or higher in a professional degree program. They'll also only have 1 prerequisite course that is needed, and that is statistics of some course, whether that's elementary statistics, whether that's biostats, some sort of course that talks about the statistics models in your undergraduate or graduate career. And then for all of our international students, we do need English proficiency proven in a few different ways. You can do the TOEFL IBT test, which we require 92 or higher, an IELTS score of 6.5 or higher, or if you've taken coursework in the United States, well, just 2 semesters of English will satisfy that English proficiency requirement as well. And you can see alongside all of the programs, we have the same English proficiencies needed. For drug discovery and development, we do need a BA or BS in chemistry or a discipline of life sciences, or a current PharmD enrolled student is a preferred degree area for those applicants. We do hope that students have a minimum of a 2.75 on a 4.0 scale in those degrees that they have received. And then also we'd like to see them complete some prerequisite courses within those bachelor's degrees, including 6 credit hours of biology, 3 credit hours of calculus, 6 credit hours of chemistry, and then 3 credit hours of statistics as well. Last but not least, some academic requirements for our certificate in pharmacometrics. We are looking for students to have a bachelor's degree in biological sciences or have completed some sort of professional schooling with their PharmD, DO, MD, or other health science related program. As far as any courses that you'll need to take to be a competitive applicant, we do like to see some pharmacometrics course, at least 2 semester credit hours, or some demonstrated working experience within the area, or have some sort of published research on the subject at hand as well. So kind of a few different options for you if you're looking to apply for the Pharmacometrics Certificate. As far as prerequisite courses, we do want students to take a calculus course, a statistics course, and then some sort of human anatomy and physiology as well. As far as application requirements, we talked about academic requirements. Application requirements are relatively similar across the board as well. All 3 certificate programs are going to ask that you complete our online application, which you can find at unthsc.edu/scp. Once again, you can always reach out to any one of us, and we'll be able to attach that application in an email as well as a $50 application processing fee. Some programs, all programs need some sort of 1-page personal statement, essentially some sort of quick elevator speech stating why you're applying to this certificate program and why you think it would help you in your professional or educational endeavors. Most of them are maximum about 400 words, so it doesn't need too lengthy, as well as either 2 letters of recommendation for our applied health outcomes research certificate. Other options for the drug discovery and development area include supporting documents such as a CV or resume. And then for our pharmacometrics certificate, we do require 1 letter of recommendation from an employer or a professor that can speak on your work ethic and your academic integrity as well. So some require 2 letters of recommendation, some require 1, some don't require any, but they're always welcome, as well as some certificates or some resumes, CVs, and the like. We're going to ask for you to submit all official transcripts from every institution that you received college credit for, and send them electronically to our admissions email at admissions@unthsc.edu. For all those international students as well, you will need to get those transcripts evaluated by WES Evaluation Services. They have an ICAP evaluation service. It's the most rigorous of the evaluations. That's why we require that area for our institution. So you'll need to send all those official transcripts to WES. They'll conduct the evaluation, and then you can send that evaluation, or they can send that evaluation directly to us electronically at that email address below as well. I didn't talk too much about tuition, just because I don't know when you're going to be able to view this video, and I don't want to give you the wrong numbers. So if you have any questions about cost or cost of attendance to any one of these certificate programs, please feel free to reach out at the email address admissions@unthsc.edu. You can also check out more online about all of these programs at the web address right there. It's www.unthsc.edu/College of Pharmacy/academic programs, and you'll find a nice list of all of our certificates, our dual degree programs, and the like right there as well. We do have some questions that were sent to us earlier that I can ask some of our panelists now. Let me go ahead and pull them up for you guys. And I will start with, we'll just go backwards here. I'll start with pharmacometrics real quick and Dr. Makiu. Dr. Makiu, a student asks if they're interested in the certificate, but they have not taken a pharmacometrics course, as we saw earlier on the prerequisites and academic requirements. How would they fulfill that requirement to get into the program?
Let me unmute myself. One of the easiest ways to do this would be to take the pharmacometrics course. It's a self-paced course that is offered by the APHA, the American Pharmacists Association. And, you know, in the future, we're probably going to be offering a course, you know, possibility of taking the course through our PharmD program, but we haven't evaluated that yet. But probably the easiest way would be to do it through the APHA. And then also, if the applicant does have some working experience, we can certainly look at what the working experience is, the publications are. If there's sufficient background in pharmacokinetics, that would certainly count. So we want to underscore that as well.
It's a perfect segue into our next question about pharmacometric certificate. A student asks, well, more states that they work full-time and they're trying to do this as well as continuing to work. They think they can only take 3 semester credit hours at a time. Can they complete that certificate in 2 years instead of the 1-year timeline?
And the answer is yes. And so with the in the fall and spring, there's 6 semester credit hours. And then in the summer, there's 3. So a student could slow the pace and take 3 hours in 2 falls and 3 hours in 2 springs, and then the 1 course in the summer.
Perfect. One more. Sorry. Okay, that was somebody else moving. I thought you were talking, Dr. Maki. One more pharmacometric certificate, and we do have some rolling in for the drug discovery and development certificates. We'll go there next. If a student has never done any kind of mathematical modeling, will they be at a disadvantage for the pharmacometric certificate?
And the answer to that is no. I think the way that Dr. Chowdhury and his colleagues developed this course was to give students the skill sets. They were very practical in the way they designed it, so that the mathematical modeling starts and then it builds in complexity. And then, the last 2 courses, there'll be a lot of time devoted to that, but the student will continue to develop the skill as they move through the course. So each of those courses, so there's no worry about that.
Thank you for that, Dr. Maki. Dr. Chang, I'll move to you next in the Drug Discovery and Development Certificate. One of the students who joined us live today asks in the chat, for the Drug Discovery and Development Certificate, what kind of engagement can the student expect to have with course instructors throughout their time in the program?
Okay, that's a great question. Again, I would try to address this question in 2 scenarios. The first scenario would be our own pharmacy student, right? Like here in this case. Since you are on campus, even though you can or you will take those courses as an online course, you can always lock the doors of the professor or instructor, ask question, stop by, ask question. You can also optionally enroll for some of the elective research courses and then perform research during the maybe summertime, maybe during the semester with some of the faculties. So that's the one scenario. The other scenario would be students who are not pharmacy students, who would enroll for the certificate program, learn remotely. Then they will perhaps have less chance or less convenient to interact with our faculty or instructor. They can always communicate by email or phone call. But again, as I said, it may not be as convenient as our pharmacy student who can knock the door at any time, right? So.
Very good. Thank you for that. A couple more for the drug discovery and development, both on the capstone project. Can they choose their, let me see if I can find one. I might be reading the wrong. Do they have to come up with a capstone project, sorry about that, with a real world situation?
So the capstone research and the internship practicum course only is designed for the Master of Science degree DDD program only. So the DDD certificate program does not have that component.
Gotcha.
Can I address that question? Because that's
sure.
very much in line with our capstone program or course that we have. So in our capstone course, students will be working with their mentor to come up with a project using real world evidence.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Dr. Rossi. And we actually, since we're on the subject, we'll go ahead and ask another one because we do have another capstone project question as well. Can they choose their mentor for the capstone project?
That's a great question. Yes, our AHR certificate students will be able to choose their mentors from core group of faculty that I mentioned already, or other adjunct faculty. They can choose their mentor for their own project, and they'll be working with their mentor to come up with their capstone project.
Thank you. A couple more real quick for you, Dr. Chang. Looks like there's some admissions-esque questions. Is it a rolling admissions process, or do you only enroll students in the fall semester? And I'll add that to the second question. You can take them on both. How long will it take for those students who do start in the fall to complete the program?
Yeah, I believe all this certificate program we present here, it's gonna take a rolling admission process. So whenever application is complete, then we will review it, make an admission decision in a fairly quick turnaround time. Now, second part of the question, that how long the student can complete. As I presented, the DDD certificate program comprises of 4 courses, 2 for 4 semester and 2 for spring semester. Again, depends on your engagement level. If you can manage it to take 2 elective, well, it actually is not elective, right? Remember, there's 1 course in the DDD program that is a core course of the DDD pharmacy program. 3 are inactive. So if you can handle 2 in the 4th semester and then 2 in the spring semester, you can complete it sort of in 2 semesters or within a year. Or you can take 1 per semester, you can still accomplish the certificate in DD in 4th semester or 2 years.
Awesome, thank you for that. For any students who are watching abroad or just online and they want to ask any other additional questions, as I stated, you can always find it throughout the video at any one of our contact information, emails, or phone numbers, or you can always just hit the general admissions@unthsc.edu email, and we'll be able to distribute your questions as see fit as well. I do want to thank you guys, both live and via online, joining us today for our certificate programs recruitment session. We very much appreciate you joining us today, and we look forward to those applications and those questions coming in as well.